and gentlemen, on behalf of the BPAA, the USBC, Paul Kreitz and the great staff here at Victory Lanes, I'd like to welcome you to the second round of match play for the 2019 US Open. We have 40 games of competition in the books. Our top 24 players will continue this morning with 8 more games, followed by a final 8-game round this evening beginning at 5 p.m. After tonight's exciting position round, our top 5 players will advance to the nationally televised championship round live on CBS Sports Network. Don't miss your chance to be part of US Open history. The show, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Now, I ask that everybody please join me while we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Thank you. It's now my honor to introduce our 24 finalists for this morning's competition. Beginning down on lanes 15 and 16. 9 regional titles. He was the 2014 and 15 Southwest Regional Player of the Year. From Houston, Texas, Sean Maldonado. His opponent with 2 PBA Tour titles from Riverview, Florida. Please welcome Tom Dougherty. On 17 and 18. This year he captured the KPBA Sam Ho Cup. He's a 5-time member of Team USA from Oswego, Illinois, A.J. Johnson. His first opponent this morning has 7 PBA Tour titles, among them the 2016 USBC Masters and the 2019 PBA Players Championship. That second major earned him the honors of being the youngest to win 2 majors in PBA history. From Little Elm, Texas, Anthony Simonson. On lanes 19 and 20, he captured his first tour title this year when he won the Scorpion Championship. Followed that up with a huge $100,000 payday when he won the PBA playoffs. From Plainfield, Illinois, Christopher Prather. His first opponent this morning has 7 PBA Tour titles, including the 2016 PBA Tournament of Champions, 2015 Rookie of the Year. He also won Sweden Rookie Sportsman of the Year in 2016. Representing Sweden, Jesper Svensson. On 21 and 22, he also captured his first tour title when he won the Striking Against Breast Cancer Mixed Doubles Championship. He's a 3-time All-American from Lindenwood University. From O'Fallon, Missouri, Kyle Sherman. His first opponent has 14 PBA Tour titles, including 2 majors. He's the 2011-2012 PBA Player of the Year. From Montgomery, Illinois, Sean Rash. On 23 and 24, 22 PBA Tour titles, including a record 11 career majors. He was a 2008-9 PBA Rookie of the Year and a 4-time PBA Player of the Year. From Australia, Jason Belmonte. His first opponent this morning has 1 European Bowling Tour title and 4 Asian Tour titles. From Sweden, Kim Bolby. On 25 and 26, 19 career titles, including the 2006 US Open. He was a past PBA Rookie of the Year and Player of the Year, an 11-time member of Team USA. In January of 2020, he will be inducted into the PBA Hall of Fame. From Simpsonville, South Carolina, Tommy Jones. This morning he's facing a 4-time PBA Tour titleist. He was the 2014 PBA Rookie of the Year and 8-time member of Team USA. From Yakima, Washington, Marshall Kent. On 27 and 28, 11 PBA Tour titles, including the 2000. Did you miss me? Including the 2009-10 US Open. From Langhorne, Pennsylvania, Bill O'Neill. His first opponent this morning has 40 PBA Tour titles, including 7 majors, among them the 2008 and 2011 U.S. Open. A 2-time PBA Player of the Year, a member of both the USBC and PBA Halls of Fame. From Claremont, Florida, Norm Goode. On 29 and 30, 2 PBA Tour titles, including the 2016 U.S. Open, representing Canada, Francois Lavoie. He'll be facing a 3-time Tour titleist. Those include 2 majors, the PBA World Championship and the PBA Players Championship. From Saginaw, Michigan, Tom Smallwood. On 31 and 32, he was the 2012 Steve Nagy Sportsmanship Award winner. He has 9 European bowling titles, 4 gold medals in International World Championships competition. From Sweden, Martin Larsson. His first opponent this morning has 3 PBA regional titles. He holds the 2016 U.S. Amateur Champion. From Springfield, Ohio, Chris Fye. On 33 and 34, 6 PBA Tour titles, including the 2017 U.S. Open. A 7-time member of Team USA, the 2008 PBA Rookie of the Year from Spokane, Washington, Rhino Page. His first opponent has 4 PBA regional titles. He was the 2016 All Events Champion at the USBC Opens. From Chillicothe, Ohio, Brandon Novak. On 35 and 36, 2 PBA Tour titles, a member of the Danish national team since 2005, representing Denmark, Thomas Larsson. On lane 36, a 3-time PBA Regional Tour champion from Brick, New Jersey, Greg Ostrander. On lane 37, 19 tour titles, including the 2005 U.S. Open, a past PBA Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year. He also has won the PBA's Triple Crown of Bowling. A member of our PBA Hall of Fame from Double Oak, Texas, Chris Barnes. And his first opponent this morning has 7 PBA Tour titles. He was the 2008, 2009, and 2010 Bowling Writers Bowler of the Year. Your defending champion from England, Don Barrett. Thank you. All right, bowlers, your lanes are on. Please take 1 practice ball on each lane. Thank you. you have your arrows and a full set of pins, you may continue your U.S. Open competition. Bowling fans, how about a nice round of applause to kick off round 2 of match play in the 2019 U.S. Open. Thank you. Good luck, players.
That last voice you heard, PBA Tournament Director Kirk Von Kruger, been involved with the tour in some capacity, I believe, for almost 4 decades, if I imagine. And now it is time for a competition here this morning. We begin match play round 2 of the 2019 U.S. Open. Emil Williams Jr. with Daniel Farish. Round 1 was safe to say it was something else, and it was a long day of bowling. I think for the players, I think that started to show certainly later in the block last night, and I think we will see some differences. Because you got out the bowling center, got a fresh start today. Important to get off to a good start for many players today, certainly if they want to make a run toward the show. And then also I think maybe some adjustments to some game plans, especially after seeing now this pattern for the 3rd time. As we welcome in Daniel into the broadcast. If you see a pattern for the 3rd time, Daniel, and depending on the results, obviously, what you do to start may change that. But they're seeing this now for the 3rd time. What might we expect here this morning?
Well, you would hope that from the players that have scored pretty well so far on this pattern, the last 2 blocks between the Cashers round yesterday and the first round of match play last night, you would hope that the guys that scored well will continue doing what they've done. But as we know, the more a pattern is laid down, the more the lanes are stripped and rerun, and they get cleaner and cleaner as they're stripped more. Patterns start to play a little truer to their characteristics, start to play a little flatter, a little harder, maybe a little more friction out there. So the guys that have had success on it might struggle a bit throughout the day if they don't adjust their game plan. And the ones that have struggled so far are still chasing a moving target because what they've seen the last 2 days may not be quite what they see today. So it's seeing it for the 3rd time. The familiarity is good because you know some of the tendencies, but there will be some differences in this pattern today than from what they've seen the last 2 days, just like there was last night from what they saw in the morning.
Our matches here on 23 and 24 and 25 and 26 feature Kim Bowlby versus Jason Belmonte and Marshall Kent versus Tommy Jones. To our left, Kyle Sherman versus Sean Rash, Jesper Svensson, Christopher Prather, A.J. Johnson taking on Anthony Simonson, Sean Maldonado versus Tom Doherty. And going to our right, Bill O'Neill versus Norm Duke, Tom Smallwood and Francois Lavoie, Martin Larson and Chris Vi, Rhino Page and
Brandon Novak.
Thank you. Looks like Greg Ostrander and Thomas Larson, Don Barrett and Chris Barnes. Again, all 6 channels available for viewing. Please follow your favorites. Check out the match play schedule and see which lanes you can map it out, essentially, and see where they will be going this round. So 3rd time, of course, we talked about it for Belmo. In the Cashers round, we saw him start with urethane on this pattern. Then last night in match play, he was playing in with, looked like some reactive. Today, playing in and actually getting further left as the game kind of goes on here.
With urethane.
With urethane.
He's certainly thinking out of the box. Throwing a urethane ball that far in, if you keep your ankles tight, this could work. I'll say this: if he is somehow able to make that ball work in there, and this is the game plan not the short term, but a long-term game plan, I will anoint him the greatest ever. Because that's just something you simply don't do. You don't see players do that successfully. So if he can find a way to make that work, I mean, it'll work in his advantage. He's already in deeper than pretty much anyone that's throwing resin. And granted, it's only one game at a time, and it's only one guy doing it, but that can still disrupt the middle part of the pattern and the back ends in there. So it could affect players moving forward, but it just depends on how long he throws it and if it works.
Pattern 4, please click lower third to check it out. And for those of you who may just be joining for the first time, Daniel, if we want to give the numbers, so to speak, on pattern 4 and some of the thoughts or some of the things that we now know from what we've seen the first couple of times out.
Well, pattern 4 is a 40-foot pattern, 30 units of oil out there, 19 and change on the forward, 10 and change on the reverse, so 2 to 1 as far as the oil displacement on the forward run and the reverse run. 2 different types of oil being used, terrain. Let me get the graph pulled up. It's on my way to it. I believe terrain is on the forward and ice is on the... We're getting there. Yes, terrain's on the forward run and ice is on the reverse. I can't 100% say how that affects what the pattern does. That's beyond my purview of knowledge at this point. That's why I'm always trying to learn more about oil patterns and machines and oils and all that stuff. But what we're going to see is a pattern that on the fresh is very tough, plays very flat early on, which doesn't give the players hardly any room for a mistake early. Now down lane, they might have a little bit of room, comparatively speaking, for a sport shot, but off your hand, you want to make sure that ball is headed in the direction you want it to go. Otherwise, you're going to pay a big penalty.
When we came into the Cashers round, Francois Lavoie was in the lead yesterday morning. When the Cashers round was over, Sean Rash had popped into the lead, and after 8 games of match play last night, 40 games overall, Francois finds its way back into the lead at plus 729. He is followed by Anthony Simonson. Good shot there from Belmo after crossing over on the right lane, and he has got himself a double here early. Bill O'Neill is third at plus 668, followed by Jesper Svensson at plus 588. Right now, Sean Maldonado would be fifth and on the show at plus 574. Brandon Novak made a nice move up the standings yesterday with a 6-2 match play record. Sean Maldonado, by the way, also 6-2. Francois Lavoie 6-2, and Anthony Simonson 6-2. So if you think about some of those things, and we'll get into the wins and losses, and we saw some players, unfortunately, not get many wins, surprisingly, and that does happen from time to time. But those who could sneak some wins, get a few wins, get the bonus pins, that certainly helps. So Novak 37 out right now. Tommy Jones is 7th. He went 5-3 at plus 524. He is 50 pins back from 5th. Tom Doherty 4-4. He is 8th at plus 519, minus 55, 55 pins away from 5th. Sean Rash, who went 1-7 and just could not buy a win until game 8 last night, but because of his good fortunes and bowling so well leading up into match play, he was leading. He doesn't fall out of the top 10 and still has a great chance, obviously, of making the show with 16 left. He is 61 back, and Chris Barnes is 10th at plus 479, 95 pence back at the moment. Early thank yous to everyone watching here on Bowl TV and simulcast to Flow Bowling. Thank you very much for watching this week. I want to thank Aaron Smith, who has, wow, Marshall Kent nearly leaving a 4-9 on a double. Kent and Tommy Jones locked up in a good one so far, as is Bowleby and Belmonte. But definitely want to thank Aaron Smith handling any viewer issues, being Johnny on the spot in regards to just downright good production. And also letting you know that, that star tab that's on your screen. So if you do have a chance and you say, okay, who's on what pairs? Aaron Smith is responsible for that. He is letting you know which players are where on our respective channels in the chat, so we appreciate you. Marshall Kent looking like throwing some with some surface. And to the right, going up the boards. And then you look at Belmo and just the contrast right now of strategies. We saw this earlier, or yesterday I should say, on the Fresh too, amongst players. I think this is a big block here for Belmo. Didn't call his name in the top 10. You have to scroll down to 14th. At plus 438. We all know, Belmo can find himself to 5 or 6 wins. That means he'd probably be in the top 10 and in a great position, of course, with 8 games left tonight.
Yeah, for guys like Belmo that are down in the standings, really, he's at 136 out. People in his area, Rhino, who's 127 out, Kim Bowleby, Greg Ostrander, Chris Vi, Martin Larson, all those players are within 136 and 167 pins of the TV show. And while it is possible to make that all up in 8 games, you don't really want to put that goal out there, because the minute you start pressing and you're only gaining 10 or 15 pins on the cut, and you think you should be in the show by the end of 8 games, and you're not, it can really be deflating. So you've got to it's kind of like one bite at a time. Just pick up as many wins as you can. Hope that the players in front of you have some struggles and allow you to catch up. And just see where you are at lunchtime. Then you can start pushing once we get to 5 p.m. tonight.
There'll definitely be some risk taken tonight. At that point, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta make sure you leave it all out there. But important to kind of manage everything emotionally, mentally, physically here this morning. Be smart. The doubles in the 10th to win matches today will be so crucial. Boy, Tommy looks like throwing just rockets.
Absolutely he is.
Gonna go right to left a little bit early here. Nice shot. Well, Bowleby's still in a great position. You can get to 243. Belmo is working on a 4-bagger. Jones takes care of the 9-pin. Right now, that match, 4 pins, the difference between Tommy and Marshall Kent. Great shot from the world's best. Oh. Goes from 7-9 just to 9, and pin comes flying from the left side in front of the 9. It stands.
A miss here from Belmo would give Bowlby the opportunity to put some pressure on Jason in his 10th frame, but a strike here for Belmo. And this match is pretty squarely in the palm of his hand.
High flush. And the light hit right there from Bowlby puts his max score 223. And that will give Jason Belmonte the win in this match. Just stay behind the foul line. Look up and down the house. Chris Barnes trails Dom Barrett through 7. Greg Ostrander. Sizable lead over Thomas Larson as they enter their respective 9th frames. Rhino Page with a 20-pin lead over Brandon Novak. Chris Vi going to get the win over Martin Larson. Francois is up 32 on Tom Smallwood, who has 4 opens and no strikes through 7 frames. Bill O'Neill, 36-pin lead over Tommy Jones off to our right. Over Norm Duke. Tommy Jones down 22 to Marshall Kent. Belmo pretty locked in this win over Kim Bowlby. Kyle Sherman and Sean Rash in a 6-pin match. Both players working on a double entering the 9th. Sherman with a 6-pin lead. He 3 10s in the 9th. $19-pin lead for Jesper Svensson over Chris Prather. And the last 2 matches, Tom Doherty working on a max score of 270 through 8 frames, while Sean Maldonado is not going to break 190 against him. And in the final match on that end of the house, A.J. Johnson with a lead over Anthony Simonson. A.J. can punch the 10th for 215, while Simo can punch. He's up right now for 187. Wow. Tommy been not messing around this morning. kind of like that plan. Yeah, and he was solid yesterday morning, too, on this pattern. One of a couple players who seemed to really kind of have a good feel on the fresh. And that was during the catcher's round when everyone seemed to be doing a lot of different things. Good Lord. Getting some devastating carry troubles. That'll be 5 consecutive 9 spares. And the old jinx again from me. And we'll make it 5 consecutive 9 counts. Big spare coming up here for Belmo. He's got the win, but you saw his reaction. He wanted to shoot 270. .236 game 1 for Belmo. Left a few out there. He will add 30 to the total. It'll be a solid start nonetheless for Orioles number 1, looking to win his first U.S. Open title. Back-to-back missed spares for Marshall Kent. See Belmo in front of us. He's visibly upset.
As would any bowler who is in that situation. There's no denying that. I don't blame him one bit for being upset.
I would be upset too.
Absolutely. When you've got the match won like that, you're basically bowling for free pins right there. You know, there's no pressure on your shoulders whatsoever to make those shots right there, and just that shows you how small the margin for error is on this pattern, especially on the fresh.
Tommy's going to get a win. Only question right now is what his final total will be. Oh, what great shots from the soon-to-be PBA Hall of Famer. Good count. He will be in the 220s. Again, Kent in the books. They were 172. Sean Rash. Good vibes for Sean this morning. He gets a win in game 1 instead of game 8, as he did last night. So that's 2 in a row if you're scoring at home for Sean. And on the flip side of that, Kyle Sherman remains winless through 9 games of match play. right, officially game 1 now in the books. Francois Lavoie, Kim Bowlby will join us here on 25 and 26. While we wait, let's take a look at Anthony Simonson as he starts with Christopher Prather. And for Simon, not the start that we saw from him yesterday. I should say last night. We talked about his first game average. And he had made a choice to put some surface, extreme surface, on a piece of equipment and give that a try. It worked well. To start last night, had himself a pretty solid day overall. Nice spare, though.
We see that backup ball from him.
We know he's got it in the bag. I told you, the good folks yesterday, that it would not have surprised me if we left yesterday with Simonson in the lead. He didn't quite get there, but he was not far behind Francois.
35. He was right there, almost one match's difference.
And there's a good one. All right, that one's on 19 and 22. We'll give you Tom Doherty's shot. And then we will get you back to Lavoie. Here is the leader. Francois, Team Canada. Former Shocker, Wichita State. Splits the 8-9 beautifully.
You know, we're seeing what appear to be some pretty big misses from some of these guys, and you know, we've seen more than a handful of crossover Brooklyn hits throughout the course of the last couple of days, and that's not these players missing an entire arrow. That's a cause of a lot of the surface that they are using. You know, if these wing balls were a little bit smoother, when they miss left like that, you're going to see it go to the nose. But with them having so much surface, when they do miss left and that ball grips, it's gone. And the miss is multiplied because of all that surface. Ball change here for Marshall. That looked better.
Lavoie looking for 3 in a row, and he crosses over there. Lavoie in that same vicinity down lane that you saw Marshall Kent on that pair. Kent looking to use a little bit more surface than what Francois is using currently. This 2-8. All right, good spare from O'Neal. Tommy Jones and Norm Duke both starting with the front 3 in their match on 29 and 30. Make it 4 in a row for Norm. Bill looking for his first strike. High flush. Ball held just enough. Bill now into that middle part of the lane. Kim Bowleby. Three in a row for Kim here. This is you can definitely tell the players certainly and reps have learned and discussed based on what they saw yesterday. Really kind of utilizing this part, the right side of the lane for righties. You've seen several righties electing to go a little straighter here to start. That 7, 8, 9 area down lane getting some work.
What I do enjoy, and this is kind of a comment about all bowlers, not just the players in front of us, but us bowlers, we're never happy. You know, we tell our coaches at the beginning of a block, well, my ball's not hooking enough, and then we put more surface on it. Well, now it hooks too much, or you put a lot of surface on it, and 3 hours later in game 8 of the block, they're complaining, well, now we have to loft the ball. And it's just funny because you talk to a lot of players this week, and they're talking about how dry the lanes get and how they're playing so far left at the end of the day, but then you see them start with a ton of surface at the beginning of a block. And you just want to look at bowlers and go, what do you want? We can't make you happy. And I see a lot of surface out there now, and you wonder how bad they're going to get as we get into game 7 and 8 this morning.
Bowleby with 4 in a row. Simonson after that 4 through the middle made the spare. You saw that was our first shot to begin game 2 over on 21 and 22. He has since thrown the last 3. Prather has traded spares and strikes through 5. And O'Neal able to trip a 4 for a double. His shot on 23 that struck in the 3rd held just enough, so there may be a move coming for Bill as well. I feel like for the most part, when Francois has had this look at any point, and granted he's had to make moves on the left or later in blocks, he's had to move left, he's had to loft later in blocks, but when he's had this ability to do what he's doing now, I mean, he has taken advantage and got a lot of pins early.
Yeah, this is like his comfort zone. This is where he feels physically he can be at his best, so he doesn't miss. These guys at this level, when they get comfortable and they're throwing the ball well, they don't miss. Great shot there from Bill. One player who does need to get it turned around pretty quick is Tom Doherty. He struggled pretty mightily the first game, and he was sitting in 8th coming in, only 55 pins out. And earlier this game, 2 spares and 2 splits in his match against Kyle Sherman, down on 19 and 20.
And Marshall involved in that roll-off yesterday as we watched Bowlby look for 5 in a row. Wraps at 7. And so Marshall grabs that final spot of match play, but I've just been watching the players again. We talk about versatility, especially at this event, with the varying patterns that call for various play on various parts of the lane. And Marshall's versatility really has been on display as well. We know about the loft, and people look forward to that in some instances because they enjoy the watch, and some people don't. That's a totally different thing. But just watching him work, he can get from the right, go all the way to 7th arrow. He can loft the cap. I mean, he can play.
Yeah, and what I enjoy most about watching these guys is watching them when their shot making is put to a test. When they are still, talking about the lofting a little bit, when it gets too extreme, it's really hard for them to repeat that shot. But I enjoy watching them when they are doing something that they can repeat, and it's something that none of us can do. And that's pretty much it. And the ability for them to go between, from first arrow and split the 8-9, and then to be sliding into the gutter cap and giving it a little bit of loft and split the 8-9.
1 to 39. I mean, it's no board left unturned. Chris Prather making this match with Simonson a good one here. He now has a 3-bagger. Nine pins the difference on 21 and 22. Meanwhile, Tom Smallwood has thrown the front 6 at Jason Belmonte. Again, hello to all watching on Bowl TV and simulcast to Flow Bowling. Those in the chat right now, big thanks to Chris, Ashley, Ken, Justin, Hosan watching, Jennifer, Steve, Brian, Kim, Justin Engel as well. 2 Justins in the chat. Don, Patrick, Jim, Roger, Karina, Joan, and Brandon. Appreciate everybody.
We do have some scores after Game 1 this morning. Your show as it sits, Francois Lavoie plus 732. 45 pin lead over Bill O'Neill in second. Wait. There we go. The standings just reshuffled. Anthony Simonson is now our leader at plus 889. Francois Lavoie plus 732. Bill O'Neill plus 684. Jesper Svensson plus 608. And Tom Doherty at 598. May want to hold up on that. Something doesn't something's not jiving with those numbers. Let's give it a minute. Yeah, we'll give that a minute on the score update. Some scores were entered wrong, so we'll give you an update as soon as they get that fixed.
Makeable spares, washouts. Bill O'Neill has lost his look just a touch. Got one right on the right lane, made the washout. But Marshall Kent applying serious pressure. Monty to our right. He's made a few splits, but Tom Smallwood has 7 of 8 in their match. You see Kent with 7 of 8. Right here versus O'Neill. Good match again with Prather and Simonson. They're on 21 and 22. Oh, Jeannie checking in. Good morning, Jeannie. 1/4 of the out-of-range crew, she said.
Oh, my.
Wow. 7-9, you see the left side of your screen if you're watching this channel. And now Chris Prather can pick up his first victory. Prather 0 for 9 to this point as well. Lavoie may have thought he missed that one. Be sure to check out the Out of Range podcast, folks. Backstage channel. Jeannie mentioned she is 1/4 of the crew with Tony Franklin, Matt McFadden, and Derek Hartnell. They talk to bowling's best. They have fun guest segments, so please give them a listen. Like their page on Facebook as well. And all social media. Again, the Out of Range podcast. They're on Bowl TV.
Well, that's 7-9 right there. Kind of looking to be the difference in that match between Prather and Simonson. I mean, a strike there. Simo could have punched for 249. The best Prather could have done, or can do, is 239. Take Simo's max score from 249 down to 217. But unfortunately, it's not only a 32-pin swing, it's probably a 62-pin swing, because that's going to take away the match win as well. That mistake right there from Marshall not going to cost him the match so long as he gets one. But again, you're in a position where you either got the match locked up, or as a professional, it's pretty reasonable to expect you're going to win. No pressure there in the 10th. Just a terrible shot. Tom Smallwood missed in the 10th, but he's still going to be in the 250s. The best Belmo can do, 180. That'll be a win there for Smalls. A.J. Johnson going to get the win against Jesper. Sean Rash in a tight one with Maldonado. Rash 215. Maldonado needs a double. Got the first one. That's down on 17 and 18. Tom Doherty continues to struggle, shooting a 6'10" in the 10th. Best he can get to is 143 as he chops the 6 off the 10. So 143 for Tom Doherty. He's going to take the loss against Kyle Sherman. Over to our left, Prather, the win over Simo. Right in front of us, Bill O'Neill, the loss against Marshall Kent. Kim Bowlby here, double the 10th. That puts him in the 230s. Francois can punch for 237, so count very important here for Kim Bowlby. 235 max score, Francois 237 max score. Norm Duke 238. Tommy Jones, best he can do is 214. Rhino Page going to get the win over Greg Ostrander. Don Barrett defeats Martin Larson. Chris Barnes needs a mark in the 10th to defeat Chris Vi. And Brandon Novak, the 4-pin loss to Thomas Larson. Francois needs double 9. There was no doubt that was going to strike. You can see the far right of your screen, very far right. Belmo made the switch from urethane to resin in the 10th and went strike, and then split, which is what you see on your screen on lane 28. Looks good. Is good, was good. Needs 9. Left. And we have a tie. How about that?
That is 15 bonus pins apiece for Bowlby and Lavoie. And a 1 added to the third column if they haven't done that, or haven't had a tie rather already. And we are on to game number 3. I mentioned throughout the week, big week of course for collegiate bowling. We'll be at the Brunswick Southern Collegiate Classic this weekend in Atlanta, specifically Marietta, Georgia. will be there. And then also the Leatherneck Classic in the Quad Cities. And the University of Maryland Eastern Shore hosted event later this month. So for all information regarding collegiate, bowl.com/collegiate for the USBC collegiate season. You can check results. We'll be at a host of events, Tier 1s and NCAA events as well. Again, bowl.com/collegiate to find out where all of your favorite teams, schools, student athletes, and the schedule of which you will see them. Well, one of the most amazing moments, certainly in U.S. Open history, happened just 7 years ago. You all know what I'm talking about. Let's take a look, and Game 3 coming up next here on Bowl TV and Flow Bowling.
Strike to claim it. A strike to claim it. And he got it!
That is right. I did it. That's number 5. Are you kidding me? That's right. Who do you think you are? I am.
I feel that show is one of those moments where you always ask yourself, or if you're talking about it with friends or a group, hey, do you remember where you were or where you were watching when Pete said, "Who do you think you are? I am." It's one of those moments, I think, in the bowling world.
Do you remember where you were, by any
I
chance?
don't actually, but my memory is not good anymore. Like, I remember watching it. I do not remember where I watched it.
Okay.
Do you remember where you were watching?
I do. Actually, I do remember. Because that was Carolier. I think that was Carolier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was working I was helping a friend of mine run a youth tournament at a bowling center because we bowled Carolier and then come home after the cashers round. And we had it on the TV, had it on the speakers. You know, this was like the kids were watching, they could hear it. And for the rest of the day after that show, I think I heard 300 "Who do you think you are? I am" from the kids.
I mean, you can go several years. I mean, you could pick a moment from all 5 titles, but that one is just it will be probably the most iconic with Pete involved, and certainly one of the, at this point, if not the most iconic moment in U.S. Open history. There's also a question in the chat. 8 games of match play this morning, and then we will have a break, and then we will come back at 5 p.m. Eastern time, and then we'll have 8 additional games tonight, and then we'll advance 5 players. to the live televised TV finals on CBS Sports Network. It's a great ball, Aaron Smith. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Aaron Smith dropping good poles.
When you're talking memorable, just coming back to Pete Weber, the one that I always remember for some reason that stands out is the when he won the '91 U.S. Open, and they handed him the trophy, and I think the eagle that was on top of the trophy wasn't bolted down, and it falls off and crashes on the approach. And the look he just gives the camera right there. Y'all haven't seen it, just go to YouTube, type in Pete Weber trophy drop, and it's he was young. It was 18 years ago. 28 years ago. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's 28 years ago.
See you later, Holstein. Appreciate you joining us this morning. Yeah, he, I feel, and I could be wrong, but I watched most of the PBA Hall of Fame induction last year, and I want to say that Mr. Burton told a story about that.
About that right there?
Yes. Elmo has made the move. I think you called it or said it earlier in regards to urethane and resin. He's moved to resin.
And maybe, when I asked Rob Gottschall a couple days ago with the players starting with urethane, he said it was just a way for them to control the pattern early on. Maybe that was simply what Belmont was doing, and it wasn't the long-term plan. And it certainly worked for the first game, 236 with a chance at 270. And then he hit the second pair and just kind of all went away. He's now switched to resin and kind of stayed inside, and then he'll make the traditional moves from here.
Did we ever get the re-up on the standings?
Not yet.
Okay.
Oh, the re-up.
Yeah, after game one. So that was something that looked a little off about that. And
yeah, we looked it up and they had Simo marked down for 365.
it's a good score.
That's not bad. Now this looks like it makes a little more sense. Francois was at, this was after game 1, 732 over. Bill O'Neill 684, Simo 671, Jesper 608, and Tom Doherty 598. Tommy Jones in 6th, 22 pins out. Sean Rash 28 out. Maldonado 56 out. Brandon Novak, as I'm reading it, refreshes for game 2. So disregard everything I said. After game 2, the most updated standings we have. Francois is plus 782. Bill O'Neill 699. Simo 677. Rash 615. Jesper 604. Tommy Jones is 14 pins out. Chris Barnes is 41 out. Maldonado 50 out. Tom Doherty 63 out. Rhino Page in 10th is 65 out. Brandon Novak 71 out. He has been 0-2 so far this morning. Norm Duke 109 in 12th. Kim Bowlby 119 in 13th. And Belmo 126 out in 14th. And for anyone hoping to be the number 1 seed, it's really difficult to catch the leader when they have the best match play record in the building. 2 players, Rhino and Barnes, are 7-3. Francois is 7-2-1. Two pretty close matches here right in front of us. Duke and Belmo separated by just 9 pins halfway through. The only difference in the Jones-Smallwood match is Jones has caught a double. Make that a 3-bagger. Smallwood 3 single pins in the last 4 shots. Dom Barrett on max score 290 through, looks like 9 frames down on 35 and 36. Absolutely taking it to Rhino Page this game. Dom down in 20th position, he's plus 367, but he's 237 out of the show right now. And this match was just about evened up right there as Jones goes 6-1 on the 3-bagger in the 7th, leaving him at 138. Smallwood goes 9 spare strike spare. It's a tie match. Nice conversion from Francois, 3-4-6 to keep his lead over Marshall.
Uh-oh. All right. I tell you, I don't think you see Belmo shake his head too often, but he's done a lot of that.
Yeah.
This week, and it's not that, with Belmo, the expectations are always astronomical, right? People have come to expect him to just simply strike all the time, which is not going to happen every single time out, especially in an event like this, but it does go to show the event has its own characteristics that everyone has to figure out. And he looked pretty solid early on, but this was game one. And that was the game he left some pins out there and was I forgot what he missed in the 10th. Split in the 10th, I think. 310. I think he missed the 310.
310, yes.
Man, it looks like he's kind of been, slightly fishing since that moment. I think we've seen him do a couple of different things, particularly on this pattern. And even throughout the week, I think, just watched him talking about ball motion and various things, and they're trying to find something. He's trying to find something consistent, and so is everybody else. And for the rest of the field, it's, the last thing you want is to have Belmo find something that is consistent.
Yeah, we haven't hit the he's running out of time point yet.
No, I think he has to remain. Once we get the next update and get an idea of how many pins back of fifth he is, if he's less, to me, if he's 200 or less at any point, maybe except game 54, I think he's got a chance.
Whoa. Okay, that's one heck of a move.
I missed it. I'm sorry.
He
What? How did what? What?
I went for 2 words there and it came
Okay.
out wrong. Belmo moved way right
Okay.
and took hand on the ball. All right, let's see if he does it again here. Take a look at this. And that's further left from where he was on the previous shot was up. Looked like 4, 5, 6. That one he kind of bends it a little bit, but it didn't look bad.
We know Belmo not opposed to taking risks. I think it was 2017. He went back up to start the final round.
Duke gonna get the win in this match. Tommy Jones a pretty comfortable lead. Just needs to stay clean here in the 10th.
Clean 199 for Smalls. TJ has been really good this block so far. Ooh. A model of longevity. Norm Duke. You saw Walter Ray out here doing his thing still this week. Parker Bone, speaking of longevity.
Even though he's going to get the win, it's the fill ball for Marshall Kent is kind of the definition of his match play experience this year at the U.S. Open. He needed 8 pins in the field to shut out Francois, and he goes pocket 7-10 on a strong 7-10.
Yeah, man.
It's like at that point, just kind of ask, are the pins conspiring against me? I mean, I need 8 to win to shut out. I hit the pocket. I don't get 9.
And honestly, it was either, he's been the victim of 4 9s. We've had a couple players be victims of 4 7 9s. I think Marshall was yesterday, 4 7 9 at some point. You saw him almost leave a 7-9 when he was on 26. And then he came up and still left 2 other 9 pins.
Yeah, and I think to an extent, Marshall Kent is also, as that ball crosses, has been a kind of a victim of himself as well. I think, he's 341 out of the show right now, and he's pushing as if he can get that all back in one game. He is 110% in on every shot, and while I agree the effort, you can be there 100% every shot. The emotions and the drama of it, you just got to put that off to the side and go out and bowl. And he's putting more pressure on himself, I think, than he needs to. He came back after, what was it? It was the match on 23 and 24. He opened the 10th with a considerable lead. And he came back and said something to himself, every single game you do that to yourself, or something to the effect of every game you get up in the 10th, and you just kill your game with a boneheaded mistake. And he's just a lot of pressure on his shoulders right now that no one's putting there but himself.
All right, bowling complete in our general vicinity, as Anthony Simonson looks like will be joining us here. Simo. Will take on Tom Doherty. And Simo's big day yesterday put him into second. Let us hear from let's hear from Simonson. Or let's not.
When technology works, it's great.
So, Mr. Simonson, we haven't talked to you all week. It's
No.
kind of weird. You've been up there on the leaderboard all week, but kind of under the radar. Is that kind of how you prefer it this week?
Nah, there's really no preference. No offense to you guys, but it doesn't bother me whether I talk to y'all or not.
Thank you. So, U.S. Open, just talk a little bit about what it's like being out there, how tough it is. What do you like about it? What do you find challenging about it?
It's been a grind all week. I've definitely seen different varieties of parts of the lane you need to play, balls you need to use, hand positions. They're really just they're testing us this week. That's for sure. It's definitely been a mental grind. Honestly, I couldn't tell you the last time. I've had to grind, like we've been having to do this week.
Now, I think people would agree you probably have one of the best imaginations of all the players with different shot shapes and things. And he's shooting the 3-6, 9-10 with the backup ball. Is there something about the U.S. Open that allows you to use your imagination a little more than other tournaments?
Yes, I think so. The lanes are always hard here, and like I said, they're making us do different things every day. Now we're getting into where we're bowling on the same pattern, so it'll be a little bit different going forward. But every day it's just been something different. So I think you see a lot of tricks come out from not only myself but a lot of guys throughout the field. I definitely think that some tricks are needed to make your way into match play and the Cashers round.
Okay. You've got two major titles. You don't have this one yet. You haven't bowled that many of them, but Belmo doesn't have this one. How much would it mean to you to win this one?
It kind of put the icing on the cake to what started off as a really slow year, but it was really got kicked into gear. Went early, a win a couple weeks ago. Physically, feel pretty sharp. Mentally, I took a 2-week break off the lanes up until a week prior, and then got back in getting sharp. And I think that really helped. Not just putting myself through the torment of practice and just everything in general when it comes to being involved in bowling. Helping having the mind relax has really been a good key going this week.
All right. Well, good luck tomorrow. Great bowling so far this week.
Thank you.
There's some really good words there from Simo. His outlook on this tournament, and the fact that he's could have an opportunity to win his 3rd career major at such a young age. The debate is surely there. How durable will the two-handed players hold up? But at such a young age to already have 2 majors, I think his career is going to take him. Will go as far as his body takes him. And then there's not a lot of wasted motion in his approach. There's not a lot of what I would call herky-jerky. For a two-hander, he is, relatively smooth. So you hope to see how long his career can go and see what kind of numbers he can put up.
Good work last night from Jason Thomas as well. That video also available on USBC social. The USBC social channels. The Sport of Bowling Facebook, as well as Twitter, as the Greek Church now for Simo. Your second frame. Game 4 here this morning. Other matches going on around us. Chris Vi and Brandon Novak on 27 and 28. Sean Rash with an early 3-bagger taking on Svensson, Bill O'Neill, and Francois Lavoie down on 31 and 32. Jason Belmonte and Tommy Jones on 35 and 36. Chris Prather and Kyle Sherman on 37 and 38. Sean Maldonado and AJ Johnson right out the matches on the high end. Then on 15 and 16, Norm Duke and Tom Smallwood, Martin Larson and Rhino Page, that's on 17 and 18. 19 and 20, Kim Bowleby and Marshall Kent on 21 and 22. Chris Barnes and Thomas Larson. Of course, Don Barrett, your defending champion, and Greg Ostrand. Match play round number 2 again. This is the second round of match play, second 8-game block. The final match play round will happen tonight. It will begin at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Here on Bowl TV and Flow Bowling. The top 5 players after tonight's round, and of course the final game will be a position round. Top 5 will advance to tomorrow's Wednesday night, October 30th, the day before Halloween, of course, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, CBS Sports Network. Ooh, nicely done, 4-9. That was by Chris Barnes. To the left of your screen.
Couple of half pocket hits that Simon was able to carry. Putting the pressure back on Doherty. A little bit down further to our right, Sean Rash, front 5 against Jesper. Brandon Novak, front 4-7 spare against Chris Vi, who has one double and an open. Belmo striking early against Tommy Jones, and Prather and Sherman. And a match, 2 strikes between the two of them through their first 9 combined frames. 2 strikes and 3 splits. So those players having a tough go of it this round. You know, we're halfway through, and it doesn't appear, coming up on halfway through, that the field as a whole has burned them up quite as bad as what I saw yesterday. Now, as soon as I see that, I see Marshall kind of hovering in front of the ball return. I see 2 10s down on 19 and 20. You know, Simo's kind of already lofting over that little bit of that left gutter. But they don't appear to be breaking them down any quicker than they did yesterday. They're taking care of them. Odd looking 5-pin for Dom Barrett. Spun the thing around on its bottom 3 or 4 times, but it did not fall. And we've seen a couple of those from Simonson. But that power game is going to bring you 9 pins sometimes, and sometimes 7 9s, which really aren't fair. The 9 pin is fine. That's equivalent to a flat 10. For us non, 500 plus rev rate mere mortals. But the 7 9 over here that cost him the match a couple games ago was just dirty. Update after 43, Francois plus 782, Bill O'Neill 714, Simonson 647, Tommy Jones 637, Jesper Svensson 614, Brandon Novak just 8 pins out of the show, Sean Rash 15 pins out, Maldonado also 15 pins out, Chris Barnes 41 out, Kim Bowlby in 10th is 54 out, Norm Duke, 64. Tom Doherty, 81. Rhino Page, 98. And then you've got Thomas Larson in 14th, 134 pins out. So 8 players outside of the show within 100 pins. And then between Simonson in 3rd at 647 And Rhino Page in 13th at 516. Just 131 pins separate 3rd place from 13th place. It's then another 67 from Simo up to Bill O'Neill, and then 68 from O'Neill up to Francois. Dom Barrett has moved right, went to urethane. Not quite getting at it at the bottom as hard as we normally see him do. We would call that being nice to the ball. He's being nice to it at the bottom. And that's why you throw urethane, because every now and then you're not nice to it at the bottom or you get it left, but that ball is not going to jerk down lane. It's not going to penalize you down lane so long as you're able to get it to read where you want it to. If it reads a little early, then yes, down lane it won't be where you want it. But if you can get it to read the spot where you want, it's not going to do anything down lane. Urethane just doesn't do that. It's a hook set motion. Sean Rash in a pressure-free match against Jesper. Rash 15 out of the show. Strikes here in the 8th. 7 strikes in the last 8 shots. He can shoot 278 this game as he steps up in the 9th. Jesper, the best he can get to is 188. So Rash, this is one of those situations where there's no pressure on your shoulders. You're not trying to dig out of a big hole. You're not 120 out. You're right there on the cut, which I would, at this point of the day, would say there's no pressure on you. You've got to go up and you've got to hit the pocket on these next 4 shots for Sean Rash. Rash and Jesper over on 29 and 30. And he does strike the 9th. Flushes it all the way.
Turning point type of game here for Sean. This could be as simple as, you know, I shoot 278 and I'm not looking back, right? I'm progressing back to the spot when I started match play, which could even be the lead. Check on Rash here in a second. Doherty. Oh, roll, roll, roll. No. And a 7-10. Tom needed that. Another a 9. For the shutout situation. Now he gives Simonson. Simon needs a mark here. Brandon Novak putting in work. He's going to be in the 270s. Novak was 8 pins off the show right now.
Novak was 8 pins off. He's going to shoot 270 with the dub. Sean Rash was 15 pins out. He's at least going to shoot 260 with the dub. And you said Simon needed a mark and almost 710.
I keep hearing phones go off, but I keep looking down. Is it me? Am I? But it's not. They'll take it 277 for Brandon Novak. Spare for the win. And that's a dub and 30 bonus pins for Simonson. Meanwhile, Sean Rash did double in the 10th. So Rash, he too will be in the 270s. 2 players in this game will add 100 pins to their totals, with their scratch total plus their bonus pins. Excellent work from Rash. I talked about it this morning when we opened up, you know. Obviously, Sean's day of match play wasn't pretty last night, going 1-7, but because he had done such a great job, obviously, of putting himself in position to be in the top 5 and obviously leading coming into that round, and then put himself in too big of a hole by the games that he did bowl scratch-wise. Yeah, and you mentioned it yesterday. We were talking about it. He lost games by 5 and 6 pins. In some situations, 12. There was only really one game where he had someone shoot 270 plus at him, and because of his consistency, and not just sometimes when you're losing matches, the tendency could be to not get every pin that you need. Every pin does count still in match play, and I think he did a great job of that last night. And now with his game plan this morning, the pins are falling, and he right now will definitely be back in the top 5. Jesper was 5th, and he just defeated Jesper by a significant margin.
Yeah, and the players that are right there around the cut, this is, with as tight as they are in the standings, there's going to be shuffling almost every game. Mm-hmm. You're going to go from being 4th to 5th to 7th to 4th to 6th to 5th, and you can't pay attention to it. And I don't know that they do this early in the day. Now, certainly as we get later into the day, they're going to pay a little more attention to the standings, I'm sure, if those guys around the number. But right now, you just got to go out and bowl, and you can't let it affect you. Oh man, I was on the show, now I'm off. No, you just got to look at it as you're a couple of spots, you're a couple of pins back where you want to be. You're one match away, basically. But you can't let that bouncing on and off the show affect you. That energy is used better elsewhere.
Yeah, and I agree. I would definitely think players at this level aren't kind of micromanaging the scoreboard in this round. Next round, depending on personal preference and whether or not they like knowing where they are. In that sense, as you kind of start to count down the games, right?
Mhm.
You're running out of games to make moves in some situations. But yeah, I think you're totally right. Players aren't saying, yeah, I'm in, I'm out way too early.
All right, take a look at who we got here for Game 5. So we have hit the halfway point of this morning's block. Anthony Simonson, Chris Vi, Jesper Svensson, and Brandon Novak. It says between Chris and Jesper and Brandon, we haven't seen a lot of them here in match play so far. We've seen a lot of Marshall in our area, a lot of Anthony Simonson, a lot of Bill O'Neill. We get to get some new blood in here.
Game 5. I don't know if we've mentioned this, but the giveaway cannon will be off and running here. We actually do have some bonus giveaways today. Our lead or main giveaway, our big ticket item, if you will. I think Daniel or Aaron, one of them said that this week. Might have been Daniel. Will be what are we giving away?
This is the one that I want the most. The Xbox One.
Xbox One. We will be giving away an Xbox One. So far, you gamers out there, parents who maybe your child has performed admirably so far in school. They've brought home the grades. They're excelling out of the classroom as well. Might be a good gift for them, or you can keep it for yourself.
Keep it for yourself.
Maybe you're a gamer. Maybe you aren't a gamer and you could do everything else that you normally would do. Like stream shows, stream your favorite TV shows, watch some Blu-ray. But we will be giving away an Xbox One this round, and we'll have another one tonight. Our bonus, big thanks to Jeannie Franklin, who was in the chat. We will give away an out-of-range t-shirt, out-of-range podcast t-shirt as well. And we'll have one of those actually coming up soon, and we'll give one of those away tonight also. Gaming has taken on a whole different fashion, man.
Well, we've kind of, not to get too much off of bowling onto a different tangent, but we've hit that part in the generational swing where parents now, obviously are our age and played video games growing up. A majority of us did. So now the adults that are in their 30s or early 40s, they were gamers. They might still be gamers. So I don't know the average age of our Bowl TV viewership, but hey, if you're in your 30s, you probably played video games growing up, and if you're in your 60s, well, it's never too late to start. Mario's timeless, man. So is that shot from Chris Vi. That strike will live in infamy here at New Victory Lanes.
Chris really bowled well last night. Was making a nice run up the standings. So it looks like everyone now is into Game 5. Norm Duke with a nice crowd that's been following him for the majority of this round today. Take a look at Chris Vi here and his record today. Hook, bang. Jesper coming off a very tough game against Sean Rash, rebounding quickly here, front 3, looking for 4 versus Brandon Novak. He's got 4 in a row. Novak just shot 277. If my memory serves correct, Daniel, I think there might be one player, and obviously very easy to just check that out, so. But yeah, there is one player who, oh, just one round, okay. No, that counts. That counts. Tied for 5th in round number 2. It's good, just a good trivia question. Maybe a good poll question.
Going into last game, Jesper was 5th, and the 2 players behind him, Rash and Novak, both shot 277 that last, 277, 278 that last round. And now Jesper answering right back. This is exactly why you can't get too caught up in the shuffling of the standings. Guys are going to go big. Somebody's going to go big each game. You hope that it's you, and if it's not you, you hope that it's not somebody around you. Yeah, Kim. Brandon does have a. He's got an arm swing that I wouldn't teach. It's just something that comes natural. But his bowling resume, I know a lot of you who may not be familiar with him, you don't know what he's accomplished. But 2-time Bradley Open champion. Won an Eagle. He was the All Events champion at the Open Championships. The guy can toss the rock, that's for sure. On the same lane that Sean Rash wiggled and did not knock down a 9-pin, he stuns an 8-pin right there that falls late. We went back-to-back 9-pin, 8-pin on that lane. I just would have been glad I wasn't inside Sean's head at that point.
PBA terms, Novak also made a show last year at the Rolf Holman doubles with Chris Prather. Make it 6 in a row there for Svensson.
Yeah, Will, and that's kind of what it's about. There's a good buddy of mine who's, I think he's cashed once or twice at the U.S. Open. He had the second highest 3-game total in team event at the Open Championships this year, but it's painful watching him get to the line. I actually bowled with him in college. You bowled with him too. But his release, it comes off his hand the same every time. But there's, in no world would I coach what he does.
I'm trying to now think about who this person is.
I'll let you stew on that for a little bit and see if you can come up with who it is.
We've got scores.
And we have a new leader. Bill O'Neill, plus 779. Francois, 761. Brandon Novak, 713. Sean Rash, 707. Simonson, 698. Maldonado in 6th is 44 out. Tommy Jones is 60 out. Chris Barnes, 80 out. Norm Duke, 95 out. Kim Bowleby in 10th is 97 out. And Jesper Svensson has fallen to 11th. He is 109 out.
Bowleby is quietly doing great work. Simon, this will turn into a very good match here. I would say 2 of the best in the world, obviously 2 of the best two-handed righties. I saw some of the combo in the chat. I don't remember which day we had Wesley on. And I apologize for not remembering. Things just are starting to all run together at this point. But Sunday night?
Yes.
Or afternoon, right? Because he bowled
that night. Yes.
So the A squad round 3, kind of game 5 or 6. Wesley actually was on and was given good combos, and we talked about the two-handed style and how he started. And you guys, it kind of coincides with what you guys were referencing in the chat. So if you get a chance this week or later today or whatever,
Need to get you on the lanes, try this two-handed style.
I'd give it a whirl. All right, here's that poll question I was referencing. Which player has been in the top 5 at the end of every block so far this week? There's only one, and it's been a testament to just how good this player has been this week. They're great, period, and they've been greater this week considering every challenge that they've had to face. Every player this week has had to face multiple patterns. Look forward to seeing the results, seeing a few good players of the fan perspective paying attention obviously to what you're seeing this week. Man, at least if the 3 stays, he's got a better chance at making the spare. Meanwhile, Vi can get to 236 for all 3 in the 10th, and he will shut out Anthony Simonson. Ooh, that was a great guess, if you guessed Francois. But the answer is Bill O'Neill.
Francois did his work on day 2. That's when he made the jump. After the first round, Francois was
32nd. Bill O'Neill was 2nd after day 1. He led for, I think, games 2 to 7 basically that day. Then he was tied for 5th after round 2. Round 3, he finished the day 2nd. Cashers round yesterday morning, he was 4th. After last night, he was 3rd. And, of course, right now is your new leader. .224 for Vi. So Simon's going to need a double. That's 1. If he goes 9 spare here, that would be a tie, of course. So must strike here.
if he strikes, if he hits the pocket, he's going to strike. So he's either going to get 10 or 8.
And there it is. He gets into the 230s in the process. Meanwhile, Norm Duke, 7 of 8. doubling into the 10th to win matches. Going to be clutch, so key to success in match play. Sean Rash to our right. He's going to defeat Greg Ostrander, and that is 2 victories in a row for Sean.
Thomas Larson and Tom Smallwood wrapped up in a good match. Larson max score 245, Smallwood 259. Oh, wrap 10 for Larson there in the 8th. Brings him down to 225, or 235, excuse me, 235. There's that situation again. Free pins out there, you've got the match won, no pressure on your shoulders. And where the players behind him last game, Sean Rash and Brandon Novak, were solid and struck out to finish their big games in those wins, Jesper cannot do the same here. Goes light in both the 8th and the 10th. Doesn't give the ball a chance. 222.
All right, let's take a quick look over at 19 through 22. While we wait for Game 6 matches to begin on 23, 24, 25, and 26.
Oh, ho, ho. That puts the lead. Marking out, excluding this, we've got a 2-pin, 3-pin match, depending on count here from Smallwood. Thomas Larson in 16th position and Tom Smallwood in 21st coming into this game. And spare strike out for both. It is a 1-pin match in favor of Larson, but with Smallwood finishing first, he can put the pressure on Larson. Punch out for 224 would force Larson to double to win, strike 9 spare to tie. Ball crosses over. So Larson, a strike on the first shot or spare strike will give him the win. Sean Rash to our right finishes out 237 in the winning effort against Greg Ostrander. Chris Barnes needed the first hit against Kim Bowlby to get the win. He's going to fall just short. I'm sorry, take that back. I was one frame off. Barnes needed all three in the 10th to tie the match and did not get the first, so he's going to fall to Kim Bowlby, who continues putting up good numbers, 224, and continues on winning.
Yep. That's the kind of person that, the kind of player that's kind of just doing his own thing, right?
Kim's 8-3 and 9-3-1 now.
Yeah, seems like Kim Bowlby. You go, okay, yeah, I've seen him before. You know, really good player, solid. You know, and then but your attention turns to your other players. You start looking at the top 5, but you know that's the thing. You look up and he's 9-3-1. You know, that's 270 bonus right there.
285 because of the 15 for the tie.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And still throwing it well and bowling well, and just keeps inching on up, moving on up the standings. And
he's doing exactly what we talked about you need to do, just one bite at a time. Larson flat 10'd in the 10th, so he needs to convert this and strike to defeat Smallwood this game. Covers the 10, no problem. All right, the math is simple. Thomas Larson needs a strike. Good shot. Very good shot.
all right, while we await our new matches to begin, Tom Smallwood, Kyle Sherman on 25 and 26. Norm Duke will take on Chris Prather on 23 and 24. Well, they don't call him Major Mika for nothing, but it was the opposite, unfortunately, in this situation. And one of the things that you probably never expect to see in a title match, certainly at the U.S. Open. Let's take a look.
Single pin spare, misses it! He missed it! And Duke has won the US Open.
Voi vetää oikein.
That is why you bowl every frame.
I think that look from Duke said it all.
Yeah, that was certainly one of the more unexpected things, without question. That was one of course, 2 Norm Duke U.S. Open titles. Actually, Stephanie had a good question in the chat about how many former U.S. Open winners are in the top 24. This is Game 6, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Good shot for Prather. He's setting up kind of in front of the ball return, in pretty deep, not really giving it much loft, and he's not really hitting it at the bottom. He's just letting the ball roll off his hand, which means he doesn't have to quite throw it as far right or throw it as hard. He can keep it a little bit closer to the pocket than what you may see other players do who are in that deep. And just being real nice to it at the bottom, not hitting it too hard, not trying to get the ball to overexert any energy, just letting the ball do all the work.
Sorry, make that 7, by the way, Steph. I counted Norm Duke twice. For those wondering, Chris Barnes, as far as this is former champions in the field of 24 in match play. Chris Barnes won in 2005. Tommy Jones won in 2006. Norm Duke won twice. We just saw one of those in our U.S. Open moments. Norm Duke won in 2008 and 2011. Bill O'Neill won in 2010. And then recently, Francois Lavoie in 16, Rhino Page in 17, and of course Don Barrett last year, 2018.
Something we haven't seen too much of. Norm Duke throwing a ball with quite a lot of polish on it.
You know, is this, I don't know if it's the same ball, but similar ball last night toward the end of match play round where he had to move left.
It is the same model of bowling ball, whether it's this exact same ball, just polished, or the same model with a different drilling. But no, it is the same one, and that thing is marbleized. He wants to try and stay on top of the dry and stay in the track area as long as he can.
All right, folks, and while we have a few moments, we won't take up too much of his time. We know he is very busy, but please welcome in Tim Mack.
Hey, guys.
Into the booth. How are you, sir?
It's been a grind. It's been a long week, and obviously each day presents a different challenge, and it's certainly been a challenge, but that's what the U.S. Open's all about. So.
Absolutely. Want to start specifically, we've been talking about Belmo's game plan and noticed some different things on this pattern. So what have you guys tried to do? What did you work on yesterday and an attempt to do today when you came in?
Well, it's been a little bit different each day. Obviously, with the three patterns, it was obviously extremely different during the week and the qualifying, and then today, we just really haven't. He hasn't really had a lot of success on the fresh. So, he got out of the gate early and had a nice 4 or 5 bagger, trying to hook it with the urethane to try to keep the ball in play, try to just to have the stable back ends because his rev rate's so high. And part of the problems we've been facing with Belmo is that he's been a little forward with his hand. Every time he's forward with his hand, which is what we wanted to do because we wanted to blend the lane out, the ball just hasn't gone through the pins, the way we're used to accustomedly seeing it go through the pins. So, and it obviously puts him on short patience. So it's presented some challenges for sure for him in that regard. And listen, it's the U.S. Open. That's what it's supposed to be. Shot, mate. Sorry, guys.
You're fine. Where do you see you guys moving forward from here with your game plan?
Well, I mean, the last couple of games, we feel like we got a little bit better picture on the lane. Obviously, the bowlers attack the lane to the right, that have had success early, attack the lane to the right, and then you have to migrate left because of the traffic and because of the ratio and how difficult and how flat the pattern is. So, the game plan right now is, a couple of guys in front of him are striking. I feel like if he can get within 80 to 100 back of the show, and 8 games to go. The thing of it is, as you can see, you saw Brandon Novak bowl 240, 270 and go from, out into third. So, two games back to back with a couple of wins, you move up in a hurry.
All right, thanks a lot, Tim.
All right, guys, catch you later.
Yep.
Excellent work, good insight for Tim Mack. We appreciate it. He has been essentially trying to watch and trying to figure out Belmo throughout the day, and we definitely appreciate his time. During the break, I'll try to ask him. My next question just would have been about Anthony Simonson specifically, and what his game plan has been, or why he's had the success he's been able to have too. So we'll work on that for the final round tonight, because at this point you would anticipate Simonson to be certainly in the mix for the show. Obviously, he already is. Do we have any score updates yet, Daniel?
We do. Bill O'Neill, still your leader at plus 809. Sean Rash has moved into second at 774. Simonson stays in third at 762. Frankie has dropped to fourth. Francois Lavoie at 756. So just 43 pins out of the lead. Tommy Jones is 47 back of Francois in fifth. Tommy is plus 709. Novak, 8 pins out of the show. Norm Duke, 30 out. Kim Bowlby is up to 8th, 54 pins out. Maldonado is 62 out. 10th place, Jesper Svensson is 68 pins out. Barnes is 88 pins out in 11th. And then you get down to 111 out for A.J. Johnson. Tom Doherty in 13th is 120 out. Jason Belmonte in 14th, 130 out. And then a big jump to Thomas Larson in 15th, 181 out. Ball change here for Duke, something a little bit more surface, able to stay right on top of it, and he goes from a flat 10 with the polished bowling ball to a 7-10 with the ball that's got a little bit of surface on it.
Well, you heard what Tim said, and I said this earlier. Belmo's 200 back at max, right? And Tim said 80 to 200, right?
100.
That's what he said, 80
Yeah.
to 100? Okay. I'm still sticking with 2. I'm sticking with 2 just because he's the best in the world. He can overcome that type of deficit. But, again, we're at a point where you start to count the games, right? The games are leaving. And so at some point there could be not enough games. You've run out of, what we say when you figure something out late, man, I ran out of frames.
Yep. Yeah, there are players in the field who at this point have run out of games, and what they're doing now is just trying to improve their position as best they can. They're out here on the surface, they're out here to win majors and win titles and make halls of fame, but this is their job. They're out here to make money. So for the guys that have run out of games, so to speak, let's say Chris Prather, Kyle Sherman, Marshall Kent, all 3 are more than 400 pins out of the show with 12 games to go. It's not reasonable to think that they could make a practical run at the show. So at this point, you pick up as many spots as you can, you earn as much money as you can, you get as many PBA points on the event as you can, and you get out of here.
Last regular season PBA event for a lot of players. Next time we'll see them, or you'll see them, will be in January when the new season kicks off. Some will be heading to Kuwait next week.
Sean Rash, spare 5-bagger to open up this game.
What a difference a day makes.
No kidding.
Right? Today he is 4-1. Last night, or yesterday, 1-7.
He's only 35 back of Bill O'Neill, trying to chase him down, but hold the phone. Bill O'Neill's on the front 5 in his match.
Last major course of the season on the PBA Tour as well. The Kuwait Open is on the schedule. And then the PBA China Tiger Cup Invitational will round out the remaining events on the PBA schedule. China Cup scheduled for November 19th through November 21st. Chris Barnes up looking for the front 8. And perhaps a 10-pin. He is just to the right of Sean. That's on 33 and 34.
Well, Kyle Sherman, sometimes I'd rather be lucky than good. Parts the Red Sea as he blows right through the face. Gets the strike on the 3-bagger, turning it into a 4-bagger and putting a lot more pressure on Tom Smallwood, down 40 in the match. O'Neill on 17, working on the front 6. Norm went back to that Crux Prime that's polished. Hit his target and struck. I think that ball, more so than the other one, will be his best bet to stay with. It's going to help maintain energy down the lane with that polish on. It's not going to burn up the way that previous bowling ball, the one he has some surface on, did. Prather switched from the Idol to the, I believe it's an Idol Pro a couple frames ago. Not being so nice to it at the bottom now. Trying to get that ball down the lane and have it make an aggressive move on the back end. Kyle Sherman has his match in hand and has it won. Just trying to make up as much ground as he possibly can here with, after this, 2 games to go in this block. Great shot there by Prather. If he could just get, he finally got that left lane figured out. Got a strike, caught a double. A 17-pin lead over Duke. O'Neal on the front 7, down on 17 and 18. He's got his match won against Greg Ostrander. Ooh, Sherman. Kim Bowlby over to our right. Missed a spare, but has the match in hand pretty well against Maldonado. Maldonado can punch out for 199, and Bowlby can spare strike for 198. But Sean, 1 double and an open in the game. He would need strikeout here from the 9th to put that kind of pressure on Kim.
Of course, Kyle became a PBA champion a few months back in July at the PWBA Striking Against Breast Cancer Mixed Doubles event. With former or past PWBA champion Amanda Green. Amanda has been diligently working at in law school the last, I think, about 2 full years perhaps at this point. She won the 2015 PWBA Lincoln Open and was on tour for the preceding years after, before taking a break and pursuing her law degree. Oh. But I'm going to go out on a limb, and this is not very far a limb. I'm going to say that Kyle earns and wins himself another title in 2020.
I think if he can just get it all put together, it seems like it's really difficult out here to get everything matched up, you know, in one event and go out and win a title. And he's, you know, he and Brad came close in the was it the Roth-Holman doubles back in 20? Yeah, it was earlier this year because they went up against Ogle and Rash. And that was a tough one for me to watch. Bill O'Neal now working on the front 9, down on 17 and 18. So now that you've had some time to think about it, do you know which former teammate I was talking about, whose style I would not teach to anyone?
He was a teammate of both of ours.
Both of ours.
Oh. The Claw.
The Claw. Scott Levy, also known as Shadow.
Yeah, I don't even know how to describe it to the viewer. It would, I mean, I don't think we would do it justice. So you would have to see some video.
Yeah.
We'll work on that.
Speaking of video, Jason Thomas is behind 17 and 18. Big old camera and a tripod ready to get video of Bill O'Neill's run at 300. Here, O'Neill, our tournament leader.
You know what? This is the kind of game, obviously, for Bill in his position, where you start to separate and add pins, right, in between top seed, second. In a moment, obviously, to where, you know, he doesn't want to leave anything out there. So, first things first for Bill, obviously make a good shot. And, you know, as long as it's a good shot, you live with the results, certainly, but make a good shot first.
Couple possible ties here. Tommy Jones needs a strike on 19 and 20 to tie Brandon Novak. Belmo needs spare strike to tie Chris Vi. Tommy doesn't get the strike. 205 falls short to Novak. It's a big win for Novak, sitting in 6th place right now, as Tommy was in 5th, just 8 pins ahead of Brandon. Belmo converts the 4-pin. Needs a strike here. Well, both players that needed strikes in the field to tie their opponents came up short, went through the nose, and didn't do it. So Chris Vi and Brandon Novak get the wins over Tommy Jones and Jason Belmonte. O'Neill gets the 10th one as he is moving the camera over so we can see it.
Let's get you to Bill's final shot here.
That is 300 right there for Bill O'Neill.
Major right there.
Thing is, however, that he only picks up 43 pins on Sean Rash, or 43, 43, because Rash had 257. So.
And that's part of it, certainly. But, you know, can't stop him from doing what he's got to do. If anything, he's letting people know, like, I'm here to stay at the top of this leaderboard. I think people have seen that throughout. We talked about where he's ended each day, and he's been in the top 5 each time.
And we said early on from day one, I mean, despite the fact that he was leading most of the first squad the first day and went on to finish to end of the day in second, we talked about that squad that he just looked, you know, Bill looked focused. He looked determined. And it was one of the things I complimented him on was his demeanor, was the fact that he doesn't, you know, he doesn't mess around in the pit area. I say mess around. he's not talking to a lot of people. His attention is devoted on his bowling. You know, he'll speak with Rob Gottschall or Sean Ryan, the EBI ball reps, but that's really it. He doesn't talk a lot to his fellow competitors, or in this case, his opponents. And to be fair, in these heads-up matches, really nobody is talking to each other. But just throughout the course of the week, he's been very reserved in the pit area. Talks more to himself than anyone else, to be honest with you. But he has certainly looked like a different player this week. And the results, including that 300, have mirrored that his outlook. You know, Craig, I don't know that anyone is saying they are surprised by this performance from Bill O'Neill. But Email talked a little bit about it. Actually, we talked off air about it. That Bill has spent some time the last 2-3 years really focusing on his game and changing his game. I mean, he just won his first singles PBA title this year, his first one since the Badger Open in 2014. In fact, that was when he beat Brian Valenta. But it had been 5 years since he had won a singles title on the PBA. In 15, he won doubles with Shannon O'Keefe, 15 and 16. In 18, he won the doubles event with Belmonte, but it had been 5 years for a singles title. Four years since 15. So we hadn't heard a lot from Bill as far as top of the standings had gone. So while no, it's not a surprise, it is refreshing to see him back where he belongs, I guess is a way to put it.
Yeah, that Hall of Fame Classic victory early this year in January to kick off the season. You saw the emotion from him after that title win, and putting in all that work, it certainly paid off. And that's what you like to see when you do put in the work. It also is a testament to him as someone who was well on his way to a Hall of Fame career. That victory made him Hall of Fame eligible. And so he wasn't down with not putting in the work and saying, I'm just going to try to keep making this work. He recognized that things were changing, and if he wanted to be successful, he had to change a little bit too.
And actually, we had him. I was going to say we had scores. Just waiting on the update. And almost like a direct response this game, Francois Lavoie has started off with the front three. Right next door to O'Neal. Francois on 19 and 20. O'Neal 3-10 in the first frame, converted it, and then took the 3-6-10 off the 3-6-9-10 in the second frame in his match against Dom, who has the double to start. After 6 games today, O'Neal your leader at plus 939. Sean Rash is at 860. Simonson 797. Francois 756. Brandon Novak 738. Tommy Jones in 6th is 24 pins out. Chris Barnes is 34. Norm Duke is 40. Kim Bowlby is 56. AJ Johnson 93. Maldonado in 11th, 103 out. Jesper 125. Tom Doherty 148. And then Dom Barrett and Rhino Page tied for 14th at 149 pins out.
Well, prior to that last update, chatting with Aaron, this event. We talked about how close things have been, lower scoring, and then also how close. Obviously, still, 1 through 14. But prior to the last game, the smallest margin for a top seed over the field it's been 237 pins. That was Belmo in 2013. But prior to this game, from 1st to 14th, the difference was 237 pins. Which is not a lot. Interesting question for you, Mr. Daniel Farish.
Yes.
At the pace we're currently on, and you've seen how this block is shaping up, and for all intents and purposes, we're just a game and a half left at this point, how it has shaped. Is there anybody who, right now, out of the show, and I'm going to say from that 10th to 14th, we'll go down to 16th. Let's see, who's 18th right now? What number? Okay, that's a lot of pins back. So let's say from 11th to 16th. So out of the top 10 currently. And all of these players are right now 103 pins back to 162 pins back of fifth. Who do you think could make it?
Who do I think could make it?
Yeah.
Out of that, those
and what
7?
do you, and not necessarily who, but what do you think it might take when you're at that particular? Not just obviously it's going to take strikes, right? That would be the obvious portion, but of that group, who do you think might have the best chance? And right now, and this is just talking right now, Sean Maldonado is 11th, Jesper's 12th, Tom Doherty's 13th, Dom Barrett's 14th, or Dom and Rhino, beg your pardon, tied for 14th. Belmo is 16th. Belmo 162 pins back. Maldonado is 11th, 103 pins back, and then There's a few numbers in between, 125, 145, 149.
If I had to pick one of those, I'm probably going Jesper. Two reasons. One, nowhere near as much traffic on the left side as there is the right side. Two, we have seen glimpses of his ability to string lots of strikes. We know he prefers to throw urethane over resin, and those strikes we have seen come with urethane. And I think if he can get lined up with it and start making shots, because it appears that the mistakes on the scoreboard are directly tied to his shot making. I wouldn't blame. It doesn't appear with his body language he's blaming the bowling ball. It looks like he thinks it's him. So if he can get settled in with one of those urethane balls and start making better shots, he could easily make a run up the field.
Don't forget, folks, many of you who might be joining us for the first time today, hopefully your work day is going well. Perhaps you're on lunch and checking things out on either Bowl TV or we are simulcasting on Flow Bowling. We appreciate you tuning in. My name is Emil Williams Jr. I'm joined by Daniel Ferris, Aaron Smith, our producer extraordinaire, Matt Canizaro in the building. The best writers in the game, Jason Thomas, bringing you some great video sites and sounds as well. And, of course, Matty C got you covered. The written word on bowl.com. We do have a couple of giveaways for you. So the giveaway cannon, actually, it's about to get started. We are going to give away courtesy of Jeannie Franklin and the Out of Range podcast crew. Of course, you can listen to the Out of Range podcast here on Bowl TV and the Backstage channel. Encourage you to go like their pages on social media. Just simply search Out of Range Podcasts, for example, on Facebook. So we're going to give away an Out of Range Podcast t-shirt here this game, and then in Game 8, again, Game 8, we will be giving away an Xbox One. If you're unfamiliar with the giveaway process, all you have to do is be watching, subscribing on Bowl TV, and when you see the giveaway notification on your screen to participate, we'll give you a warning, basically, a 60-second warning to let you know that the giveaway is upcoming. Once that then makes its way, you click Submit Entry, and you are entered to win. All right, so first, again, t-shirt coming up first. And very specific for the Out of Range t-shirts right now, as the crew only has sizes right now, medium, large, and extra large. So just keep that in mind. So if you happen to be the winner, or if you know that you need a small, and you say, well, maybe I'll give it a try, maybe I'll win. Just mediums, large, extra large. So you'll see that running here momentarily, and boy, what a difference not only a day makes, but a new pair of lanes makes. And I'll tell you about that here in just 1 second, as Bill O'Neill leads a 7-10 on 22. And he's got one strike through 5 frames after dropping 12 in a row. Maldonado leaves the 4, 6, 7, and the 10th frame. He's going to get the win, but a same situation where you're disappointed, you leave those pins out there in the 10th. Again, our first giveaway will happen this game. In fact, the warning is up right now. It's for an Out of Range Podcast t-shirt. Again, support the Out of Range Podcast on Bowl TV, the Backstage channel. Check it out if you have not. With Tony Franklin, Derek Hartnell, and Matt McFadden. They have plenty of guests on, both BBAP, WBA guests as well. A lot of funny segments, so check them out. But if you get a chance to enter to win for a t-shirt Sizes available. Again, sizes available. Medium, large, and extra large, courtesy of the Out of Range podcast crew. Nathan, you got to click submit entry. It just requires one click and then you'll be entered. Okay, congratulations to Francis Gloria. Francis, got yourself an Out of Range podcast t-shirt. So Maldonado defeats Kent 222 to 195, but I know Maldi again. I'd like to have that 10th frame back. Meanwhile, Bowlby and AJ Johnson. Wow. The 3, 6, 7, 9, 10. For Bill O'Neill to our left. And again, pair to pair. O'Neill in danger. He just added 130 pins to his total. We could see something really crazy here in this final game.
No kidding.
Just this round. We haven't even got to tonight. Best Bill O'Neill now can do is shoot 168. And he's going to take the L to defending champion Don Barrett.
I went down and visited Double A Ron real quick, and I looked up at Sean Rash's score, and through 6 frames, he was clean. So we could see Rash is still clean through 8, doesn't have any doubles, and he's neck and neck with Chris Barnes as they enter the 9th frame. Rash can go out for 26. Barnes can go out for 25.
Really nice game here from AJ Johnson. Don Barrett has really stayed true to going up the boards with urethane these last few games.
Dom chops the 2 off the 2-5. He's got the match in hand. Just doesn't want to give pins back. Dom right now 14th, 149 out. Good game there for A.J. Johnson. A.J. in 10th, 93 pins out. Now, exactly what Dom did not want to do, open the last 2 frames on the double in the 7th and 8th. Turns a possible 240. Marked out, could have been 220, 210 into a 190 game.
Well, A.J. Johnson going to be at plus 729 with a game to go here this round. After shooting 254, he'll get the win, of course. Bowlby only gives a few back, but that will be just his 4th loss of the tournament. Well, life comes at you fast in our sport here. Take a look at Francois and Bill as we await our matches to begin for Game 8 on the featured pairs.
Off to our right, Prather going to defeat Smallwood, and Kyle Sherman going to defeat Norm Duke. Bill making a ball change here, going from one shiny ball to another. Couldn't tell what it was. A little bit different motion. It's like he was throwing a Futura. That game he made a ball change to the, I believe, to the web. Just looking at the colors of it.
Matches from 15 through 22. Just about underway. That is lanes 15 to 22. All right, 23, 24, 25, and 26 will be off and running momentarily. And don't forget, folks, if you haven't already, there's been a few episodes of Earl's Journey to 900 this season here on Bowl TV. Schedules. Earl's schedule, our schedule. Fewer episodes than we did last season, but however, we got some more planned for you. And even some more special guests, so be sure to tune in on Bowl TV, the Backstage channel. And see if Earl will get to 900. Closest we've gotten, well, Wes Malott took care of that last year. Back-to-back 800s from Wes, and in the driver's seat of Earl.
What did, if you remember, what did Wes do that was so much different from everyone else?
What's the best way to describe it? I feel that he really put himself into like being Earl that day, if you understand what I'm saying. I mean, he really made it seem, well, he didn't make anything seem. We realized just how good Wes Malott is by the moves and moves that he made, and thinking ahead already, things that he wanted to see, happy to see 4 pins and different things like that. It was a very nice kind of educational moment for us, just to get into the mind of a professional like that. We had Belmo in too. In fact, all those episodes are available in the Backstage channel. Season 1 is there, as well as Season 2. I do forget the scores, but I feel like he shot like 760, 70, and like 830, 840. Yeah, now I gotta look it up.
Is there a, do we have an acceptable margin of error for Earl, or is he just on spot every shot?
We did learn that every 5 to 6 frames, based on consistent laydown, that a move is necessary, because his ball is the only ball on that path. So,
and it's hitting the same path.
Same path.
Okay.
He can be every now and then somewhat inaccurate. Not by much, but every now and then, though. In that realm, kind of human in a sense. That'd be like that was kind of random, like a random outlier type shot. But historically, every 5 frames has been a move necessary. Sometimes we did it, and we paid the price, or we didn't pay the price. Sometimes we didn't do it, especially when we're on like 5 in a row.
Sometimes you got to make that gutsy move, man. You've got to, if you know, you know.
That's what Pusha T said.
And thank you, Justin, Jasmine, everyone else in the chat for your kind words. This is hard work and long days, but I think you can tell from our delivery and from our cadence and from our energy that we are excited and love what we do. It's kind of one of those, yeah, it's hard work, but if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life type of things. This is one of those scenarios. So Marshall Kent lining up right here. I wish I had been watching a little bit of Marshall the last game or so to see if this is something he's been doing, but he is further right than just about anybody. He's throwing a physics, so he's not throwing a low performance bowling ball or a plastic ball or a urethane ball in the track area. He's throwing a high end asymmetric bowling ball, and he's kind of right on top of 13-14. Drilling doesn't look to be anything crazy. Pin's about 2 inches above the bridge or above the middle finger, so it's not like, a pin in the palm or something that's going to get the ball to read and quit early, or a pin on the axis where it's just going to roll as soon as it hits the lane and not really hook. It's nothing crazy. But when you're at a point in the standings where Marshall and Kyle are, you'll try some stuff.
Don't forget, folks, we're not done with giveaways. We are giving away an Xbox One this game. Xbox One can go nicely with your new PBA bowling game. Or, if you win the Xbox One, you probably say, well, I should probably go out and get that PBA bowling game. Boy, Belmo, speaking of Belmo, he is on the front 5 on 15 and 16. Talking about needing something nice to end a round. Get some confidence to set things up for tonight's block. Is that the right time?
Excuse me, what time?
Is it really 1:20 Eastern time right now?
You are correct.
Okay. Okay. All right, folks, we're going frame 5 in our match between Marshall Kent and Kyle Sherman here on 23 and 24. That's when we begin our Xbox.
Well, before we do that giveaway, I'm going to get in some scores real quick. With 1 game to go in the block, 9 games left in the tournament. Belmore front 7, by the way, on 15-16. Bill O'Neill, 975. Sean Rash, 944. Then it is 127 pins back to Anthony Simonson. 12 pins behind him is Francois Lavoie. And 26 pins behind him is Tommy Jones. Tommy and Brandon Novak have been flipping that 5th and 6th spot for like 3 games now. Brandon is 6th. He's 53 pins out. Kim Bowlby up to 7th. 55 pins out.
That?
Chris Barnes, 79 out. Norm Duke, 99 out. And 10th is Sean Maldonado, 128 out. AJ Johnson, 139. Belmo, 151. And then it's 170 back to Rhino in 13th. Don Barrett, 192. Tom Doherty, 197. And the last player within 200 of the show, Jesper Svensson in 16th, 198 out.
By the way, Justin, thanks for your kind words in the chat. We appreciate it. Saddened that this will be your last game. Won't be able to watch, but of course you can go back, I should say, tomorrow, later tonight, and check out what does happen. No matter what, though, if you can, be sure to watch the live television show tomorrow night. It'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS Sports Network. In fact, that's a message to everyone. Don't forget to set your DVRs. Perhaps it may counteract what you normally might watch on a Wednesday night, but hopefully you'll be able to make that exception tomorrow night, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS Sports Network. If you won't be at home, please set your DVRs. What do you normally watch on Wednesday nights?
I don't.
Fair enough. Are you bowling?
No, I'm either working or I'm very much a streaming guy, so Netflix, Hulu. This Wednesday, I'll be watching bowling.
Correct.
From the comfort of a lane-side seat while keeping some stats. Belmo front 7 down on 15 and 16. His 8th frame offering is on the way. 8 strikes. Oh, come on, Sherm. We were cheering for you, buddy.
Cameras rolling down there on 15 and 16. And what I mean by that is many of you already know that Netflix here this week to begin filming for the Belmo documentary. And certainly wouldn't this be a good one to have in the dock. Front 9 attempt. Oh, he buried that one. All right, folks, giveaway time. I do remember Justin saying that he was going to see Carrie Underwood. Yeah, you can't miss that, my man. All right, folks, Xbox One grand prize today.
I'm very distraught right now.
That you can't get into.
That I can't get into.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, who we got? Paul Bell. There it is. Whew, a little bit of a delay. Paul Bell. Congratulations, Paul. Paul, you're very welcome, sir. Congratulations on the win.
Absolutely, Paul. Appreciate you tuning in.
And don't forget, that's not the last opportunity you all are going to have to win. We have one more Xbox One just sitting in the coffer, waiting to be given away this afternoon, I guess this evening, in the 5 p.m. final round of match play.
And we will also have an additional Out of Range podcast t-shirt to give away courtesy of Jeannie Franklin, the Out of Range podcast crew.
All right, good deal.
So we will do that this evening as well, and it will precede. Not sure how much time, but it will precede the grand prize giveaway tonight. We'll probably do it prior to Game 8, so we know the position round will be fast and furious, if you will. So Belmo over on 15 and 16, and it just leaves a 4-pin. Belmo made the spare, so best he can do is shoot 279, but
if he that would put him at, give him 109 pins to his plus minus total, which would put him at 725. And as it sits right now, 725 would put him 76 pins out of the show. That was going into this game. So he's going to be right where Tim Mack said, between that 80 and 100 with 8 games to go.
I think that's all you can ask for. And I said that at the top. My number extended a little bit. I gave an extra 100 pins. But that's all you can ask for when you... Yeah, I feel like they battled. They went to battle every game. Like every game they were, trying to figure it out. And to get to 279 on the end, I think that gives you certainly some hope, because it's not that there was any question about whether or not he can strike. It was about, what's the pattern telling me? What is the pattern? How is the pattern dictating my own game plan? And it's been tricky for not only Belmo, but at some points every player in this field. I think tonight we'll really get a chance to see some of the why these players are who they are, why these reps are who they are. If they can get the right game plan, and the IQs of these players really kind of come into play when you got 8 games left and you got to find something. Hey, what's that one thing maybe that I can do that no one else can do? You got to take some risks, see what happens. If you have a game plan, and you know what, it might be one of those situations where you got to bail out of that plan early if it's not working.
I will say one thing, though. If Belmo's going to do that, if he's going to make the show, he's got to find a way to do what he just did sooner. And I don't mean shoot 279. I mean find a motion that works, because he was only, other than that game, the other 7 games today, he was only plus 58. He was 4-3 and plus 58. So they've got to find a way to get that motion in his hand sooner. And E, I'm going to ask you a question. If a bowler is looking for more motion sooner in a block, what do they do? More surface.
Oh yeah.
And that's that kind of goes back to maybe, Wesley Lowe's theory that one of the reasons why, Belmo struggled out here is because he can't break down the lanes the way he can, at the ITRC Hall of Fame event or at a normal tour stop. Same pattern. Same pattern. They know it'll be the fourth time they've seen it. They know what to expect. It's all playing right into his hands.
I was gonna say, I asked about advantages. At some point, is an advantage, and you mentioned it's relative to the player. But I think in his situation, seeing this pattern again, I think only helps him, right? Because they've had so many options or tried several different things that they've probably been able to eliminate some, right? Well, we know this didn't work. This didn't work. This was kind of okay. So if we see, this, this, and this, here's what it is. Here's what we'll try. We know surface works early on this pattern because Thomas Larson used a lot of surface in game 1 in match play yesterday. In the Cashers round. Then Anthony Simonson kind of tried to repeat what Larson did with surface in game 1, and he got off to a great start, shot 250, 260 as well. So we know there can be some score on the fresh. It is about how you create it.
Yeah, just looking back at his numbers on this pattern, starting with the Cashers round, he went plus 51 with nothing higher than 232. Last night, he went plus 44, and that was with a 269 game. Today's been a little bit better than that because he's going to be, his scratch total is going to be plus 137 with a 279. So take that out, he's plus 58 for the other 7 games. He's gotten better on the pattern, but he's got to get better. He's got to get better earlier.
And probably the sneakiest player, if you will. We're going to end with him right now as Kim Bowleby. Just a couple of strikes here. But looks like Kim is going to lose his second consecutive match. By the way, who's your pick or who's your lock for the show heading into the final round of match play? You only get one. Who's your pick? Bill O'Neill, Anthony Simonson, Sean Rash, Francois Lavoie.
Who's yours if you had to pick one of those 4?
I'm going to stick with Bill O'Neill.
That's where I went.
My second one would be Anthony Simonson. But I've been very impressed today with Sean Rash.
Man, to bounce back after the struggle he had yesterday, just basically, you said it earlier, put it in the rearview mirror. Just act like it didn't happen and start from scratch today. A phenomenal effort from Sean Rash today.
I don't care how the last 2 games ended for Bill, and he did lose twice. But someone who's been in the top 5 every round, he's smart enough and able to deal with some things, and he's got the experience to be able to keep himself in the top 5, in my opinion. I think for Kim Bowleby, I feel the last couple of games, he's had a lot of 9 spares. There's been a lot of 9 counts, so I think figuring out late block carry potentially for this southpaw could be the difference in him making the show. He was how many back coming into this game?
Yeah, 50s. 50. Yeah, hang on a second. Kim Bowleby was, 123 because he lost the last match and there was some shuffling. He was within 50. He was 123 out coming into this match.
So that number's probably going to drop a little bit more after losing. But, still, final games of bowling will be, looks like, had on 27 through 30.
We got one heck of a match here between Duke and Maldonado. Both players, they're separated by 19 pins in the standings.
So it's big 30 bonus pins right here.
Maldonado 114 out of the show. Duke, Sean's in 9th, 114 out. Norm is 11th, 133 out. A double from Sean. Double and 9 will shut out Duke.
Bill O'Neill, by the way, led the poll results, and who everyone's get that one pick for to be a lock on the show. Jim makes a good point in the chat. You know, I do like what Jim said in regards to Mac. We'll figure it out. Speaking of Tim Mack, I assume he's referring to Belmo and helping him figure out the game plan. We heard from Tim earlier in this broadcast, and so I feel like with the combination of Tim and, of course, every rep with Storm, they've got a lot of experience together, and especially internationally. Speaking of Belmo and Tim Mack, so that'd be an okay thing to think about in regards to. Yeah, I think Timmy will be able to figure things out.
The only concern Tim Mack has, he's not the one throwing the ball.
Well, of course. He did mention, he talked about when Belmo's hand gets forward. I had to go back and listen to that.
Duke needed double to get the win. Going to get the flat 10. That will give the win back to Maldonado. But you were saying about Belmo's hand getting forward.
Yeah, Tim, I don't recall exactly what he was talking about, but that was kind of part of, it's kind of part of the game plan. It was almost like they were trying to stop the ball from hooking a little bit. And so to do that, his hand goes forward. And I don't remember the back half. You recall?
I'm trying to rack my brain about it, but if you're going to ask for one player in this field to physically do the same thing over and over and over, I know we have a field of talented players, major winners, Hall of Famers. It's hard to go against Belmo because he's so technically efficient in what he does.
You got to be efficient, man. Well, we got a nice little break.
Me too.
Seems different than yesterday, but I forgot we had we did have a roll-off yesterday. 200 even for Norm. And he is going to fall to Sean Maldonado, 204 to 200. Here is Kirk Von Kruger.
2019 US Open. We're currently tabulating scores. We'll have scoreboards updated and our websites updated just as soon as possible. I invite everybody back this evening at 5 p.m. for the third and final round of match play, which concludes with our exciting position round. That will decide our top 5 players for our nationally televised championship round, live on CBS Sports Network. We invite everybody to come and watch that show at 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Tickets are still available, but they are going fast. Check at the counter for details. Thank you.
All right, well, that will do it for us here this afternoon, E. Your thoughts on the block?
Oh, look at this guy asking the questions. It was different. I think we've seen something different every day. Every block has been different, but today seemed like, everyone made a considerable effort to kind of play the lanes in a general area today, more so than they had maybe during the rest of the week. I think that helped. We didn't see a lot of players having to get too, far as playing in or lofting too early in the block. We saw it a little bit, but it was Game 7, Game 8, where you might normally see something like that. So I would that's what I took away from it. Kim Bowleby quiet but doing his thing. He's up there. Sean Rash bouncing back from a very tough block last night to come back and put himself back in not only position to make the show but potentially to lead the U.S. Open again as well. And, you know, the Belmo story, just trying to figure things out. I mean, it seemed like game by game, literally working to come up with the best ball reaction that they could find. And that'll be the story for tonight, I think.
We're going to see a lot of aggressive moves from a lot of players. We've talked about it all week, that as you get down to it, you know, that final round of match play, bowlers get more aggressive with their decisions, but it was all in theory. Now we're going to see it firsthand, and I'm looking forward to seeing what these players, these ball reps, and these really smart people come up with to get their players from out of the show to end of the show.
High risk, high reward, and that's the story, I think, for tonight. Good work. As always, we will see you all at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Enjoy the rest of your work day. If you are at work, wherever you may be watching from, be sure to tune in on Bowl TV and Flow Bowling again 5 p.m. Eastern tonight for the final round of match play, 8 games to determine the top 5 who will advance to tomorrow's live CBS Sports Network televised finals at 8 p.m. Eastern again on CBS Sports Network. For Aaron Smith, Daniel Ferris, Jason Thomas, Matt Canizaro, the entire tournament staff and crew, and everyone here at Victory Lanes, I'm Emil Williams Jr. We'll see you at 5 p.m. Eastern here on Bowl TV and simulcast to Flow Bowling.